thank you so much for joining us for our webinar, Using VoIP in Emergencies and Understanding 911 and Voice over IP. I'm Tracy Liu, VP of Channel Sales here at ClearlyIP. And today I'm going to give you a quick intro into ClearlyIP and who we are. And then we're going to go over the most recent telecom laws related to E911. And after that, we'll cover affordable and easy to implement solutions that we have for meeting the requirements set forth in those laws. And then finally, we'll wrap up with some Q&A. As a reminder, everyone is on mute, but if you have any questions, go ahead and put it into our Q&A, and we are going to record this webinar and share it with everyone here. So let's get started. Who is ClearlyIP? So ClearlyIP is a VoIP organization and team of experts that was founded in 2019. Our founders are the original founders and innovators behind FreePBX, which is one of the largest telecom applications in the world. About 85% of our staff is engineering, and our passion is building quality VoIP products, which we've been doing since 2010. So we're leaders in telephony. We're laser focused on delivering cutting edge solutions that are secure, collaborative, and productive. We're also a growth company, so we're always improving our product set and partner program and looking at intelligent acquisitions. But what gives us an advantage over the many VoIP companies out there is our legacy of innovation, reliability, and market expertise. This is the entire ClearlyIP product set. We have Clearly Cloud, which is our multi-tenanted cloud solution, UCaaS solution. This is the main product that we work on. So we have a lot of growth in this product. And we also manufacture our own desk phones and gateways that are basically they're manufactured by us, and they all come with a 2-year warranty out of the box, and they work with our products as well as other products on the market. We also have Clearly Anywhere, which is a mobile app. And this mobile app works with both Clearly Cloud and Com Exchange and some FreePBX systems, as well as Cloud Device Manager, which is an agnostic device provisioning tool. It has over 300 different phone models, as well as paging systems, and now our gateways in there to make it really easy to provision these devices. And we also have Com Exchange, which is a PBX that is specific for the hospitality industry. And then we have SIP trunking, which is one of the first products that we put out. It's a very reliable SIP trunking platform. And CodeX and Panic Button, which are some emergency alert solutions that we're going to cover today. And then as well as Send Fax 2, which is our virtual fax solution, where we do both inbound and outbound virtual fax. So let's get into the 911 piece. What is E911? How does it work? As we all know, 911 is the universal emergency telephone number in which callers dial in the event of an emergency and where locations need to be communicated. So E911 stands for Enhanced 911, and it's a system used in North America to automatically provide the caller's location to 911 dispatchers. There are currently 3 laws in effect in the US in connection with E911 that every partner and customer needs to know. If you are a business telecom provider or a customer, you need to be compliant with Kari's law, BAUM Act, and Alyssa's law. And although these laws are currently for new system installations, it could and should be addressed for your existing phone systems to ensure safety and protection for your customers. So next, I'm going to go into a little more detail about each law. Starting with Kari's law, this law was named after Kari Hunt, whose estranged husband assaulted her at a hotel in Marshall, Texas. Her 9-year-old daughter attempted to call 911 4 separate times from the hotel room, but because the phone system required a 9 to be dialed before an outside call, all 4 calls failed. Doctors testified that Kari lived for some time after the assault, and had 911 been reached, she would likely still be alive today. Kari's law is split into 2 different parts. The first is the direct 911 dialing requirement, which states that MLTS providers, which stands for multi-line telephone system, must be pre-configured to the PBX to support direct dialing of 911 without having to dial any prefix or access code such as the number 9. The second part is the notification requirement, which states that when a 911 call is placed, the MLTS system must be configured to immediately notify without delay a central location, on-site or off-site, where someone is likely to hear and see the notification. At a minimum, that notification has to include that a notification to 911 has been made, a call has been made to 911 with a valid callback number and information about the caller's location. This law was enacted in 2018 and applies to all systems that are installed after February 16th, 2020. Next is BAUM Act. So BAUM Act was named after a lawyer and congressman who championed this telecommunications policy throughout much of his career. BAUM Act ensures that first responders have correct location associated with 911 call received, and requires that a dispatchable location information is conveyed with 911 calls to dispatch centers, regardless of the technological platform used. Dispatchable location means a location delivered to the public safety answering point with a 911 call consists of the validated street address of the calling party, along with additional information such as the suite, apartment, floor, room number, or similar info necessary to identify the location of the calling party. Like Kari's law, BAUM Act was enacted in 2018 and applies to all systems installed after February 16th, 2020. Third law is Alyssa's law, named after Alyssa Al-Hadef, a 14-year-old student at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Alyssa was killed during a mass school shooting on February 14th, 2018, and when a former student shot and killed 17 people. Alyssa's law is legislation enacted to improve the response time of law enforcement during emergencies in public schools. It mandates that all public elementary and secondary school buildings be equipped with silent panic alarms that directly notify law enforcement. These silent panic alarms must be designed to be discreet and not cause mass panic or distraction. They also have to be linked to law enforcement or 911 to ensure rapid response. Alyssa's law is currently enforced in New York, Florida, New Jersey, Texas, Utah, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Georgia, and more recently this year, Washington and Oregon. And it's still pending in at least 18 other states, which a lot of states are actually going to be enacting this law before the end of the year. For the latest information on Alyssa's law, you can visit alyssaslaw.com. Let's now talk about something that's often overlooked, but absolutely critical, and that's emergency preparedness. According to a survey from Nationwide Insurance, 75% of small businesses still don't have an emergency plan in place. And that's a staggering number when you consider what's at stake. Even more alarming, the Milken Institute reports that 40% of businesses fail to reopen after a disaster. And those that do, 25% fail within just 1 year. These aren't just statistics. These are cautionary tales that highlight how important it is to prepare before a crisis hits. On the right side of the slide, you see emergency planning cycles: mitigate, prepare, respond, and recover. Mitigation means identifying risks early and putting systems in place to reduce potential impact. Preparation is about taking proactive steps, training, communication plans, and emergency tools before an emergency occurs. Response involves immediate actions to protect people and property when a crisis hits. And finally, recover is about bouncing back, restoring operations, rebuilding, and learning from that event. This cycle is a continuous process, and your organization's resilience depends on how well you plan in each phase, before, during, and after an emergency. So next, I'm going to introduce some affordable solutions that are easy to implement, like Panic Button, Silent Intercom, and CodeX, that will help you prepare and respond in an emergency situation. These solutions work with ClearlyIP products such as our SIP trunking, Clearly Cloud, and Com Exchange to help you meet the E911 laws and requirements. So let's start with Kari's law, which requires phone systems to allow users to dial 911 without requiring a prefix like 9. ClearlyIP solutions like Clearly Cloud and Com Exchange fully support 911 direct dialing, and you can configure them so users can dial 911 directly without any extra steps. Our platforms also support 911 notifications, which can be configured for mass alerts. which are critical for internal awareness and response. So when someone dials 911 from Clearly Cloud or CommExchange, we can automatically trigger multiple types of alerts, such as phone calls to designated staff until someone answers, paging over paging systems to a paging group, SMS text, and email notifications. These notifications ensure that your internal team is immediately aware of an emergency and can respond while help is on the way. Next, let's talk about BAUM's Act with 911 callback profiles and dispatchable locations. BAUM's Act mandates that all 911 calls include accurate dispatchable information. Both Clearly Cloud, our hosted UCaaS solution, and ClearlyIP SIP trunks support the requirements of BAUM's Act. First, we support 911 callback profiles, which ensure that if a 911 call gets disconnected, emergency dispatchers have a designated callback number to immediately reconnect with the caller or designated team that has vital information. This allows first responders to stay in contact even if that original call drops. Next, we provide dispatchable location data. That means when a call is placed to 911, the system doesn't just send a street address. It can also include more detailed information like the floor, the suite name, or room numbers. And this helps first responders locate that caller quickly and accurately, especially in large buildings like a campus or a hotel or any multi-tenant facility. This is critical in situations where every second matters. 911 callback profiles and dispatchable locations are tools that are essential for both regulatory compliance and ensuring the safety of your staff, your guests, customers, or students during an emergency. With our solutions like SIP trunking and Clearly Cloud, dispatchable locations are actually available at just a fraction of the cost of a DID, which allows customers to significantly reduce expenses compared to providers that actually require a separate DID for every extension. Next, I want to introduce the panic button, which is a silent panic alarm designed to meet the requirements of Alyssa's Law, which mandates that a timely and silent notification to authorities is given during an emergency. The panic button allows staff to discreetly trigger an alert, either through a programmed speed dial directly on the phone or through a dedicated panic button with a long cord that plugs into the phone's USB port. So that can be installed, under a desk or under a counter. Once activated, a call is silently placed to a preset destination, such as school administrators or emergency responders. What makes this powerful is that the phone's microphone is automatically turned up to maximum gain, and we turn off echo cancellation. So that allows those on the other end to hear and assess the situation in real time without anything appearing on the actual phone or device itself to indicate that there's a call in progress. So this ensures that help can be mobilized quickly and quietly without escalating panic or alerting the threat. Panic button is a feature that is exclusive to ClearlyIP phones. Another powerful tool for emergency response is our silent intercom feature, which is also on ClearlyIP phones and exclusive to our phones. The silent intercom allows authorized users to discreetly listen in on an emergency situation without alerting anyone in the room. When triggered, the system sends a silent notification, and if the phone isn't in use, it will automatically answer and activate the microphone without any visible indication that the device is on an active call. If for some reason staff is not able to trigger an alert from the room, this enables security teams or administrators to gather real-time audio from this scene, helping them assess that situation and coordinate the appropriate response quickly and quietly. The last product I want to introduce is CodeX, our mass alert and emergency communication platform, which was awarded the Unified Communication Excellence Award. CodeX integrates seamlessly with both CommExchange and FreePBX, and it's now included with CommExchange at no additional cost. CodeX was originally developed as a custom solution for a school district in California, but it's evolved into a powerful tool for any organization that needs to quickly identify which rooms or zones are safe or unsafe during an emergency. CodeX features individual room reporting and auto-logging of incoming responses, allowing response teams to see updates in a dashboard in real time. And you can also manage and deploy emergency announcements tailored to the type of crisis to ensure clear and consistent communication. There's also a central dashboard that provides a live view of the entire facility. Staff can call in to report their status, and in unmanned areas like like a school gym, for instance, you can integrate camera systems to monitor conditions visually. After the event, detailed reporting tools help you review the response and improve on future emergency plans. So let's get into a little more detail on how CodeX works. CodeX enables real-time emergency response by letting users easily report their safety status. And there are multiple ways to mark a room or an extension as safe or unsafe. First, CodeX can be programmed to dial out to each extension, and users can simply press a button on their phone to respond. One press logs them in as safe, another as unsafe. Another way is for users to dial in to CodeX using a response code. So for example, *61 help to mark themselves as safe, or *62 help to report as unsafe. And to make this even easier, we can program these codes as speed dial buttons on the phone so users don't have to remember these numbers during a high stress situation. Lastly, for those with access, room or extension status, room or extension status can also be updated directly to the user control panel, which provides another layer of accessibility and control. When preparing for an emergency situation, the first step is putting together a plan for each type of situation, whether it's a lockdown or an evacuation, a fire or a hurricane. It's really important to define the steps that you want to take when you want to communicate. One of the key features of CodeX is the ability to manage emergency announcements, which are either pre-recorded or live, or you can combine both. You can create, upload, and organize custom announcements for each type of emergency, which we refer to as a campaign. For example, you might have a specific message for lockdown and a different one for evacuation, and another one for a weather alert. Having these announcements pre-configured ensures that when seconds matter, you're not scrambling to find the right words. And if the situation calls for it, you also have the option to make live announcements in real time. This flexibility allows your team to quickly respond and respond in a manner that's clear and consistent, no matter what the scenario is. When delivering a message or lockdown announcement during an emergency situation, it's important to use clear and concise language, especially in high-stress situations. The goal is to ensure that everyone, including visitors that aren't familiar with your procedures, immediately understand what to do. So here's an example. A lockdown message might sound like this. Attention, the school is now in full lockdown. Lock and block your rooms. Turn off all your lights, immediately clear restroom and hallways to the closest safe location. If outside, please run to a safe off-campus location. Students, stay off your phones and stay silent. Staff, please report your room status with your predefined code. This is a very simple, direct, and action-oriented message. Once you've identified emergency scenarios and the key messages you want to communicate, you can begin building customized campaigns in CodeX for each type of event. With each campaign, you define how notifications are delivered, whether to page, call, or both, whether you want to enable check-ins or do a mass notification. For instance, a customer can have mass alerts that are suited for notifying only, like for a lockdown, while in a different situation, like a fire, check-ins are more appropriate. You'll also be able to define how many notification attempts should be made and at what intervals, and then also the overall time limit. You'll also specify which extensions to page or call and require check-in, and what announcements should be played and how often. This flexibility allows you to tailor your response plan to fit the needs of each unique emergency, making your communication faster, more clear, and more effective. Once your campaigns are set up in CodeX, the system's just ready to respond when an emergency occurs. So if that happens, there's two ways to activate a CodeX event. One is by going into the CodeX application in the user control panel, so from the computer. The other is by just dialing a pre-configured extension and a specific code and entering a password. And both of these options provide fast, secure activation to ensure that your emergency response is launched immediately. During the emergency event, CodeX gives you real-time visibility and control with live monitoring, status indicators, and reporting. You can monitor the status of each extension or zone in real time using intuitive red, yellow, and green indicators for instant clarity on which areas are safe, unsafe, or unresponsive. Pre-recorded instructions are paged over the phones or paging systems and customized for the emergency. And then after the event, you run detailed reports to review campaign performance and response data. These reports can also be automated and sent via email, which can help with compliance documentation and make it easy for you to do an analysis of your response after the event so you can make improvements for next time. CodeX was originally designed to help school systems and was initially deployed in the education vertical. However, it naturally grew into other applications. It's a very good fit for hotels, municipalities, hospitals, and other businesses, any business that might need to communicate quickly in an emergency. Really, any multi-office, multi-room organization. Today, CodeX is compatible with CommExchange, our hospitality PBX. It's included at no cost with CommExchange. And it's also compatible with Business Connect, a hosted PBX platform provided by us, Tango PBX, a distribution of free PBX, and supported versions of free PBX such as Incredible PBX. To wrap things up, today we've explored how ClearlyIP's emergency tools and VoIP integrations go beyond compliance to deliver real practical safety solutions for schools, businesses, hotels, and more. We've covered 911 direct dialing and notifications supporting Kari's law, dispatchable location delivery and callback profiles to comply with BAUM Act, and how ClearlyIP phones enable silent panic buttons and silent intercom, offering powerful ways to respond to emergencies supporting Alyssa's law. And we've covered the power of CodeX, our mass alert and emergency response platform. So whether you're protecting a school campus or managing multiple multi-building operations, or simply building a smarter communication plan, these tools are designed to make emergency preparedness easier, more affordable, and more effective. Let's jump over now to Q&A. See if we have any questions. For dispatchable locations, do I have to have a DID for every extension? Well, that really depends on your provider. In a lot of cases, SIP providers do require a DID for each extension. But in the case of ClearlyIP SIP trunking, we do not. We have dispatchable locations for around 30 cents each. What if there was a power outage or we lose internet? So in the event of a power outage or you lose internet, we actually have something called our failover gateway, which allows us to fail over to 4G, and it also can come with a backup battery. So it's definitely something that you want to take into consideration is if internet or power goes out, right? So we do have options for both of those, and we can talk to you about those offline. Does silent intercom work with Yealink phones? No, silent intercom is a feature that is exclusive to ClearlyIP phones. And all of our phones are built standard SIP, so they actually are compatible with a variety of PBXs. Does panic button work with any SIP phone? No, actually panic button is also specific to ClearlyIP phones. There's something in our software for our phones that controls the volume gain and the echo cancellation on the phone. So when someone presses that panic button, we bump up the volume and turn off echo cancellation. How are location-specific details transferred to the public safety answering point and responders? So we actually record the location details in with our SIP trunking, and often there is a spot in the PBX also where it can pull from that information. So when you're using our SIP trunks, we program it into the SIP trunk natively, and then it pulls also from other areas of the PBX. What if it was a loud classroom? Would they hear alerts and announcements going through the phone without additional intercom or speakers? Yeah, I guess that does depend on the classroom and depends on your unique situation. So that's why, a lot of schools do have the overhead intercom paging system, right? So in those cases, if you page from the overhead speakers, then that should be a lot louder than what's coming from the phone. Do I have to have a callback profile for each extension? No. So we split everything into callback profiles and dispatchable locations, but you only really need one callback profile for like each physical location, like building. And if you have an emergency response team for your company, that is who the callback profile should go to, because they're the ones that are aware and notified of the situation. So the callback profile can go to them in the case that 911 is disconnected from the caller. They can call back and still be in contact with someone who can keep them updated while help is on the way. Do we have to have a physical panic button or can it be installed on the phone? So yeah, the physical panic button, that is an option, but actually we can just program a speed dial on the phone to be the panic button itself as well. Thank you, Todd, for a better answer there on the PSAP thing. So dispatchable location information is tied to a unique identifier in your account. And when services are called, we send this information to the PSAP. Can other extensions bridge into your 911 call? I believe you can support, yeah. So if somebody's on a 911 call, we do have it depending on the phone system, right? So for Clearly Cloud, we have the ability to do monitor, whisper, barge on our extensions. So if you're using our products like Clearly Cloud or ConExchange, you can absolutely do that. Touching base on the audio alert system from earlier, is there an option to have any of the CIP phones connect to the other overhead paging systems? Yes, we can connect our phone. So as long as the overhead paging systems can connect to the phone system that's using our phones, then yes, we can connect to that system, the overhead paging system. Any other questions? Does that include Clearly Cloud? Not sure what that question is in reference to. Does that include Clearly Cloud? Clearly Cloud also can tie in with the overhead paging systems. Yes, we can do that. We just need to obviously make sure that we, in some cases, there might need to be an adapter depending on the paging system, but yes, we can do that. Any other questions? All right, well, if there's no more questions that are coming in, if you have anything that you want to reach out to us on or you think of a question later, feel free to call our sales line or send me an email directly, tlu@clearlyip.com. Thank you very much for your time today. That concludes our webinar. Thanks.